Welcome to the GSTL. I am Wolf, and with me, as usual, of course, is Kaldor. We have a great set of matches today. It is going to be, of course, StarTale against FX Open.
Exactly, we had the runner-up of last season against FXO. The StarTale team fell short to Prime in the final, but Prime is already out of the competition.
Yep. And this is going to be quite the show. I'm really looking forward to seeing what FX Open can show us, because StarTale's already shown they have quite the solid lineup. They've got a great variety of players, and they're able to make it all the way to the finals last season. FX Open falling short in the round of 4 at the semifinals, not able to make it to the finals, not able to go to Vegas, but maybe this time they can go to Busan at least.
The StarTale players are doing really, really great, and today we have some couple of really exciting matches going on. We also have one foreigner on the bench, as Naniwa is here at the studio, so we might even see him play today.
That's entirely possible. The most exciting thing to me was that I saw Parting and at first didn't recognize him because he changed his hair back to looking like a normal person, but actually with him he looks a little bit good. Like I'm like, wow, he looks pretty suave with that new old haircut that he has that's not ridiculously crazy and frizzy and all over the place. He looks good, man.
On the other hand, we have, of course, also the FXO players. We have the Zerg Teddy Bear with Lenok, who arrived at the studio a little bit earlier. And here we have a quick look at our both teams now.
Yep. You can see our information here. You can see that there's a lot of Terrans on the StarTale roster, but the Protoss lineup is equally as heavy, I guess you could say. FX Open having quite a Zerg-heavy team these days. Interesting to note. I didn't actually know that their team had that many Zergs these days. And, well, you can see that we've got some pretty obvious results down there at the bottom as to who our most valuable players are. FX Open really, I think, is the underdog today. They really have to show their stuff.
It's not going to be easy for them, indeed. They lost a few good players just lately. They still have a couple of heavy hitters in their team. Lucky is, of course, a very good player, even though in the recent past he was not able to show the greatest results. On the other hand, we have Lenok, a former runner-up. But for StarTale with Squirtle, Harding, and, well, all those players that they have on the bench,
what's worse than one Squirtle is two Squirtles, man. You see I see him down there, I'm like, whoa. Well, here you can see, of course, still leading the charge is Symbol with the highest win rate, and Puzzle being second place here. And this does not include, as far as I can tell, yesterday's crazy run with Coca.
Yeah. Yesterday was really intense.
Oh, there he is. Okay. I see him. He's in 4th there. Wow, even with his performance yesterday, he still gets 4th place. It just shows how crazy Symbol's run has been.
Yesterday was really crazy. I mean, if you haven't seen the matches just yet, make sure to check them out. Coca really had some amazing games played. And, well, he was basically the reason why we don't have Prime in the competition anymore. They're out of the tournament.
They got smacked down by Coca yesterday. It was insane. Definitely go watch the VODs if you haven't yet, if you want to see Coca destroy some people, and if you want to see how you can actually have curly hair in Korea and make it work.
Is that a rule? Usually when you don't have curly hair, you can't make it work?
No, the thing is, like, Coca has curly hair and he makes it work. I felt like Parting was an experiment in terror, like, it didn't work out like he planned. It was definitely not ideal, alright, but now he looks good.
Naniwa needs a recommendation, by the way. He talked to me earlier and he asked me when exactly the hairdressers in Korea
I know some good places.
Yeah, you should definitely recommend something.
I can definitely help him.
Apparently he's not happy with his hairstyle right now.
I think he looks good, though. I don't know why he's.
He told me it's too long.
So oh, okay. Well,
I told him that I have no clue, but that you are definitely the expert on it.
I can definitely help him out with that. It'll be quite simple. Quite simple. All right, Tale of a Shooting Star. I think we know what team this is. This is StarTale, recently being sponsored by Red Bull, and Aphrodite coming out today. I guess she saw Eve yesterday, and she was like, I'll raise you.
Are we going to have some kind of girl competition here?
Well, they already did, and Aphrodite won.
They did?
Yeah, they played in some tournament against each other, some female tournament, and Aphrodite won, I believe.
Who talks about StarCraft?
I think the score was like 2-1 or something. I don't really remember, but I didn't watch it. I just heard about the results.
All right, so here we go. The StarTale team.
July in there. You know, July very much, I feel like, the face of StarTale oftentimes.
Oh yeah, he definitely is, because he's really taking apparently care of things in the StarTale house to a certain extent as well. So every time there's a problem between the players, I think he's the one that they go to. At least that's what Naniwa told me, so he is a very important part of the team.
And don't forget about Ace. He's really, in July, maybe like the face of the team, but Ace, look at his new hairstyle. You guys will see it later if he comes out, but he has like kind of the side of it cut. He looks really good. And he is just a crazy guy.
Yeah, the Celebration King. And here we have a close look at the lineup. We are starting today with our Zerg players. It's July, King Kong, and of course Curious. Very strong Zergs that we have here in the lineup. But of course it's more about the Protoss players.
Yeah, it really is. With Squirtle, Parting, and Ace, very, very strong Protosses. And lastly here you can see Virus, Bomber, Sound, and Hack making up the Terrans. Pretty sick lineup actually overall.
That is a crazy lineup. This is really a really crazy lineup, and FXO has to be very careful here.
They certainly do. Look at July. July is actually a scary opponent to face.
All of them are.
Yeah, look at Curious, Bomber, of course, even Naniwa. His hair actually, yeah, it is getting a little bit long. I see that. Oh, sorry. Once you mentioned it, I had to check again, and I will say, yeah, it needs a little bit of a trim.
He looks a little bit lost at the top left.
He does. He certainly does. But he looked really, really good in his group stage, the round of 16. He will be facing Dongrigu and Kodas in the round of 8, and everyone's looking forward to that. But the potential of an ST versus Naniwa finals is there.
Well, Naniwa is practicing against Zerg like crazy at the moment. He has a lot of training partners that he's trying to find strategies against DRG with, so... It's going to be a good match. It's going to be a very good match. But here we have the FXO team.
We are young, we are strong. Lennox certainly a young player for sure. Some other young ones on that team as well.
The Zerg Teddy Bear.
Indeed. Choya, man, he is looking fancier every time I see him.
Definitely. It was so funny. We walked into the makeup room earlier and I saw Choya in his suit and I was like, whoa, Choya, what happened to you? And he was like, why? What do you mean? And I'm like, yeah, you're looking fancy. And he didn't know the words. He was like, fancy? And I tried to explain it to him, but I completely failed because his English is really bad. So he looked it up, I think on Google Translate or whatever. And you should have seen him. I mean, he reads the word and he asked me, fancy? Like this one? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. And then he suddenly straightens up and was like looking all smug. It was so funny.
He really does, though. Like, he looks very, very good and very professional. I like how his shirt has the buttons. The button strip is like silver, but the rest of his shirt is black. I really like that. Look at how
look at him. Look at
that. That is the epitome of fancy right there.
Great team. Very, very nice players. But well, today they are up against a very strong opponent. But here are our FXO Zergs. We have Lucky Lennox, Sirius, and of course FXO Will, who made a little bit of a splash at the last WCG.
I would say so. Choya, Tier, and of course Weekend as our Protosses. Weekend, very strong Protosses, made appearances in Code A. Then Gumiho the best, and ASD. ASD our starting player for today.
Yeah, we have a Terran versus Terran as our first match in Entombment Valley. We have Hack versus ASD.
This is going to be a pretty cool match. I like the story in that FX Open. Definitely, I feel like is going to be the team that has to make something work more so than StarTale. StarTale has a lot more flexibility, and that type of story is always cool because the FX Open definitely can do this, but how will they do it if they do it? That's what I'm really looking forward to see. What will their player choices be? When will they send out Lennox, for example? Is Choya going to actually stand up with his fancy shirt and go into that booth? Will we see that? Will he do that?
I banded a little bit with him earlier, and well, Choya is not going for the all kill today. That's something that he tried to do in the past. It did not work out all that well. But today it's going to be more about, I feel, the two Zerg players that we have in the lineup. They are definitely, with Gumiho, together with Gumiho, they are, in my opinion, the really strong players that they have. Lucky, Lennox, and Gumiho.
Yeah, without Oz, their team looks a little bit like it's missing something. You know, Oz was like basically their Protoss face for quite some time, and they don't look as strong without him.
Yeah, it's a chance for the Protoss players that they currently have in their roster to step it up a little bit and to take this position to fill the slot.
I really think they're going to have to. Our starting map, by the way, is Entombed Valley. We have a Terran versus Terran there, but it's unfortunate for any Protosses that may have wanted to come out against Zergs because the map is just already gone. They do not have the opportunity to use it as a snipe map. And here we go, our first Terran player from the team StarTale. And you guys have already seen, it is StarTale Hack.
A very strong Terran player, and he is especially strong against Protoss, which won't help him in his first match, but definitely something that you guys might remember, as he was the reason why Huck is currently not participating in the GSL. He was able to win the games that they played and send Huck down to Code B.
Yep. Look at his face. He's, well, so they're talking about Zenex in the chat, and they're making fun of Legend, actually. I don't know why, but that's what they're doing. And anyway, he's just having some happy, nicely spirited chat in the lobby. That's why he's laughing right now.
Hack is a very, very cool guy. He's pretty nice. I didn't know him all that well before I visited Naniva a couple of times at the StarTale house. Of course, I've seen him in here at the studio, but I never really talked to him. So when I was at the StarTale house, I finally had the chance to, well, exchange a few words with him. And he's a really nice guy and tries very hard to speak a bit of English and communicate. So
yeah, he's
really cool guy.
He's pretty outgoing. Now, of course, our starting player for Epic's Open, we're going to give you a glimpse of in a moment, we've already mentioned, it is going to be ASD, of course, formerly known as ASD Foyu. Now, when asked when he joined Epic's Open, he was told specifically, we will make an exception for you. You can make your ID ASD Epic's Open. And he refused. I thought it was kind of weird because I really liked how his ID before was ASD Foyu because ASD up on the keyboard. He wouldn't be ASD Epic's Open.
But, okay.
I thought it was a really cool idea, and he just wouldn't do it, man. I just want to mention that little bit of trivia. His average wins in GSTL, pretty poor, 0.14. He wins half of the time when he comes out fourth, but every other time he's come out, well, things do not go his way.
It's very interesting to see that a lot of the AFXO players do really well in the Code A qualifiers. Most of them had a hard time in the first rounds, but so far I have to say that they impress me over and over again as soon as the Code A qualifier actually takes place. And especially players like Weekend and Tier have been doing really well.
Taking a sip to get himself hydrated and energized for this match.
This is a little bit like the opening match here. I mean, it's not like we have one of the heavy hitters. Yesterday we saw, for example, Bjan as one of the starting players. The coach explained that he set him as to be the first player because he usually gets nervous when there's a lot of pressure on him. So he wanted to have him on one of the first maps where it's not that difficult for him to cope with the situation and he can get a little bit accustomed to it. But today we have two Terran players. We have a TVT and Entombed Valley with Hack. Probably a little bit the more experienced player here.
Yeah, I would say.
But both of them,
they both have experience in the individual league as well as team league. And you're right, this is definitely one of our more balanced starting players sets. I mean, usually we have two players like this who are decent but not heavy hitters, and that's what we see today. The map is loaded, it is Entombed Valley. It's time for StarTale against Epic's Open here at the GSTL, sponsored by Hot 6 with Caldor and Wolf.
Lights go out, it's finally going down. Feel it in
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Starting to the bottom left of Entombed Valley in the red is our StarTale player. Here we have
StarTale! Hey!
I wonder if we'll see any nukes from him in this team league today. It's possible.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the past, but if you guys did not watch any of the recent GSTLs or Code A cast, his nickname actually means nuclear missile.
Yep. At the top right from the team, FX Open, formerly, of course, from Foyu. His ID is
FXO ASD!
And as mentioned before, this is one of the maps that usually is taken by Protoss when they are up against Zerg players. We have very strong Zerg players in the FXO team and a couple of very talented Protoss players in the StarTale team, so it would have been an option for them later on to pick Entombed Valley in order to take down Leenock, to take out Lucky, but now it's the starting map and therefore it's already gone, one of the 9 maps that we may see today.
We're going to see Gas First versus Command Center First. The Gas First, of course, going down for our StarTale player Hack, but ASD going for the Command Center First is going to put him in somewhat of a worrisome position because he's going to have a very late starport. So, for example, if Hack goes Cloak Banshees, or even if he goes without Cloak just as a Banshee expand, he's going to really struggle without Stim, without a good Marine count, and without Vikings to deal with these Banshees, especially at these positions. We are at close positions by air.
Yeah, that could definitely be a problem for him later on. So we are going to find out how well ASD's build order is going to work out, how well he actually took into account that he might face a situation like this. We kind of had an interesting thing on the Korean stream just a few seconds ago. One of the guys in the audience actually, I think he downed a hot 6 in like one swoop. They made kind of a contest out of it. That's why the Korean commentators got like really agitated and loud. I don't know if you could pick that up on stream, but in case you were wondering, that's all that happened.
Yeah, hot 6 is an awesome thing. We're bringing it right now, in fact. At this very moment.
Well, we have now currently ASD with the double barracks follow-up, but as you already said, Hack is going for the Banshee play. He has the second refinery up, the factory is nearly done.
Oh, and he will deny the scout.
Yes, without a problem at all.
No, I was close, but no command center, so that will tip him off a little bit, and he is going to want to respond as fast as possible. But how do you respond to this? Do you double gas immediately now that you see no command center? Do you really want to commit to that? I mean, he's gonna go ahead and do at least one gas. Yeah, and there's the second one. He knows that he has to get that starport up ASAP.
The advantage that you obviously have when you go for the double command center build is that with the 2 orbitals you have a lot more energy at your disposal, you can scan a lot more often, but this will also cut into your mules, so the advantage that you kind of that you are aiming for, where you have nice spots to command center, where you try to get a better economy by building double SCVs and by getting all these mules into the picture, will be gone if you just use too many scans. So if Hack is able to bait out a few scans and take down a couple of SCVs, he should be able to even things out here. And starting with a cloak immediately, just waiting for the resources to start the first Banshee.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what he's going to do. And this is going to be so scary because, yeah, the scans make a difference, but the Banshee alone is so difficult to deal with without a Viking. If the Banshee is microed correctly, if he is microed well, then how do you kill it? Marines alone without Stim will never catch it.
And without combat shields, so
no
you
combat
can
shields,
just
yeah.
double hit one of those Marines. You don't need the 3 hits that you need if there's a combat shield. And now we have suddenly the engineering bay. The scan for ASD reveals exactly what's going on in the main base of his opposing player.
Yeah, you saw Legend actually just on top of everything. He's like, boom, catch the scan, knows the scan timing, goes right to the eBay. That's exactly what, when you play a build like this, ASD knows the timing for the starport. That was a timed scan that he's checking. All right, this is the moment where I can see his tech, all of it. And he scanned, immediately makes the eBay. Great reaction. I like his double gas timing as well. And he will be able to hold this with the turrets. It's not going to be easy. He will lose a little bit. But if the damage is not severe, then he's going to be behind economically. Of course, referring to Hack.
The Marines move out together with the Banshee as well, so this is going to be very interesting if he tries to go for a combined attack. Of course, ASD has a few more Marines than he does, but if he plays this well and micros accordingly, well, okay, there's a bunker at the front already. He should definitely be fine here.
Yeah, if he pulls too many Marines back to his base, though. Oh, that was a close call there.
A nice position here. The missile turret is definitely out of position. He needs to be careful, though. Those Marines... Oh, wow. That was really close.
Yeah, what a close call.
Just outside of the scan range.
What a close call, man. I'm actually still thinking about it. He's going to deny this turret here. Has to be very careful not to fly into the other one's range while the Marines are here.
If he's baiting another scan, that would already be worth it.
Yeah, certainly.
Not quite able to do it, but the missile turret finishes, and this gives now...
He can't escape.
No, he actually thought that he was outside the range, but the Banshee got revealed, and then he loses Banshee number 1. The second one tries to go in here.
The turret placement, I mean, he went crazy with it, but I like it. With this type of build, it's great to do this. And he's saved a scan. He can use it if he wants to. He's not wasting it. There he goes. Does actually not kill the Banshee.
Hack is actually doing a really good job here. If you think about how many missile turrets we have, how many minerals ASD kind of committed to this, Hack was still able to kill 6 workers, and he baited 2 scans already, and he's killing even more. Nice control here. In the end, he loses the Banshee without baiting another scan, as one of the missile turrets on the high ground is able to reveal it. The Banshee number 3 is already on its way, and here comes Hack moving out with a follow-up. The Marines and the siege tanks are already part of the composition, and he's going for the siege mode as we speak, halfway done.
Yeah, and I mean, the supplies are even, but I just looked at a tab that hardly anyone talks about, the spending tab, and you can just see that the economy has paid off already for the FX Open Terran. And I really wish, if there's a Blizzard developer out there listening, thinking about this for Heart of the Swarm, if the spending tab would show the total resources spent combined from all of the economy, technology, and army on the right side, I think that would be really cool, because that's like one way to really judge how much someone has gotten from an expansion. And oh, this is already starting to damage that bunker. He pulls out. This is a really strong push, and I like this because he knows he did not do enough with the Banshee. Needs to do a little bit more, but a great defense from ASD.
He uses a scan here to get vision. Well, he got the vision with the Vikings as well, but at least he's able to take down the Banshee and forces now Hack to retreat. And you can already see in the overall supply count that we have 80 to 68 and therefore a nice lead for ASD. Hack is doing well so far, but still the defense from the FSO player is just a tiny little bit better.
Yeah.
And therefore he has the small lead with the 5 harvests that he has, more income so far.
I like so much that the push happened because it made sense. It's as if ASD knew it was coming, though. With the double bunkers he had in play, and also he kept his Viking production up so he would have vision. He knew how to shut it down, and he did. He just made it look easy how well he defended that. It was crazy.
Hack now with the obvious decision, trying to go for a third base here as a follow-up, falls back into macro mode and tries just get a little bit ahead. But at the same time, ASD is doing exactly the same thing, is building his third command center and making sure that he is not falling behind here. He's still a little bit ahead in Harvesters, doing a really good job with his economy, and of course starting all these upgrades now as well, starting his tech. But Hack, once again, with the Banshee, trying to do some damage here and at least able to delay the third command center for a while.
Yeah, that was really cool. He gets out with the Banshee as well, does not lose any hit points on it. Right now, they're almost even in every regard. ASD having a few more Harvesters, 53 to 49, and he's got the air control. He's got more Vikings.
And again, he kills the SCV.
So worth it.
Yeah, definitely. He
He's trying to bait
this
a
third
scan.
base for an eternity.
Yeah, and if he baits the scan, it even becomes more worth it. So that's really, really cool to see. He's going to force a repair eventually on this. He can't send another SCV over right now with the Banshee there. He just cannot do it.
He tries to escape the Vikings though, and well, there
so
has to be
funny.
a scan because he has so much energy left on this Banshee.
He could have killed the SCV, but in the end, it's all right. He gets out. He will lose this Viking or this Banshee if he really stays on it like this.
At the same time, though, the Terran player for StarTale is moving out now. The third base for him is already done. He tries to put it into position, but there's one SCV or a Marine blocking. He actually builds a building right now. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's a supply depot that he's building in order to block the third. But here comes the push
And
by
you know,
a StarTale
yeah,
player.
and the Vikings are out of position right now because they're chasing the Banshee, so he has air control here. And he's taking some damage on the tank. This is a really nicely timed attack.
He saves the tank, but still, this is not going to be too easy. We currently have a Viking count also in favor of Hack, who has 3 to 2. He needs to be careful here. Oh, but nearly losing all of his Vikings. And here comes ASD moving in at the ledge, trying to max this work. Actually, he does quite well with this tank count that he has. He took down most of the tanks, but he's falling behind in Marine, so he lost at least a lot of them.
Well, he could have engaged it a lot better. He really wanted to save the refinery. That much was clear. He was like, I will not allow you to take this. And he just went in there, attacked. It was extremely cost inefficient, but yeah, you're right. He pushed it back. The tank count right now is 6 to 2 in ASD's favor, and he is taking this expansion a little bit later than his opponent, but the game is still really even.
You can tell that ASD here did not move out a single time just yet. He always stayed in his main base. He always tried to just defend. He started with a lot greedier opening than his opponent. Hack went for the tag, ASD for economy. And so far he didn't move out once. He's just sitting there, sitting tight, trying to defend against everything that Hack tries to do in order to break him down. But with the third base now for both of them, they are definitely opting for the longer game. Supplies are dead even. STV supply is a little bit ahead for Hack right now, but with 3 mules in the picture and 3 bases, this is not really all that important.
Yeah, you're right. It's not all that important right now.
It's a minor difference.
Exactly. It's just very few workers different. The question is, when will the fourths be taken? Both players taking identical sensor tower positions. You can see the Venn diagram has been created on the left side of the map, so they both know that that hallway over there is going to be a very important push location. I like the destruction of the rocks here. It means that if he wants to, he can siege up on that location on the high ground. He can put bases up there if he wants to. His upgrades right now, referring to ASDs, are way ahead. He's got 2-2 on the way. His opponent does not even have 1-1 yet. Armory just finishing for him. So Hack behind in upgrades, and if they engage during that time, Marine on Marine, it makes so much of a difference with how many units you have out. Right now, it's in the 40s already with Marines.
Hack is not trying to get his 4th base. He already builds the command center. We have a little bit of an engagement here, but whoa, Hack is losing every single Marine. And well, ASD is playing this very cautious, very slow. but he makes this work. His trades are a little bit more efficient, therefore he has a few more resources that he can spend. He's ahead in upgrades, as Wolf just pointed out. So he's in a very good position here. And at the same time, Hack is just trying to find openings. He's always poking a little bit. And he's able to spot those jobs, but not able to take them down.
Oh, the one Marine is not actually a Marine of Hack.
Exactly. I was about to say, you're like all excited. Yes!
I was like, he's not shooting. He's not doing his job.
He's roundhouse kicking the medivac. No, he's not.
Well, the upgrades continue here. The upgrade advantage has now been nullified by the fact that Hack's upgrades are caught up, but soon it will be the case again. Both players need +1 for the siege tanks at a relatively even timing. And these tanks on the high ground, they actually make a huge difference here. Notice that already pushing these Marines back, disabling his ability to attack those rocks.
Yeah, ASD is now moving out for the first time, and then he immediately gets attacked. But wow, are those two medivacs actually heading right for the Marines? And with the damaged medivac in the lead, yes. Oh, nice reaction here. That was brilliant. He spotted them, and I think 0.5 seconds later, he moves them back.
I think he was very sure that he had to babysit those. Like, that's just obviously going to be the case. Fourth base up a little bit faster for Hack.
A lot faster, actually. He's going straight for the planetary here, but it will already be done in time. And, oh, wow. ASD has to be very careful here.
Yeah, he will lose the medevac. Actually, may lose both.
I think he's going to lose everything.
And the supplies right now very even. You know, they're both hovering around 200, not 195, 195, 198 now. It's going to come down to where the engagements are. Look at the bank, though, for ASD. It's much higher than his opponent. He's been maxed earlier, and he's just banking up even without having the fourth base up as quickly.
But with the fourth base up, he will definitely have a small lead in the income, thanks to him saturating 4 bases instead of 3, the 4 mineral lines. ASD is trying to get another base into the picture with 3-3 started. And as you mentioned earlier, ASD is just way ahead in upgrades, Hack a little bit slower. But this is about position. If Hack finds an opening and puts it to some good use, he will be able to use this. But just look how risky ASD actually plays with his medivacs. Another medivac down in the red, trying to get a drop into position, but all those Vikings that are hovering in the vicinity, they are definitely going to be a problem.
Yeah, that was really scary, actually, what he did with that drop on the left side there. A great reaction by Hack, unsieging his tanks immediately. These drops are, you know, they're really heavy in units. I mean, he is not doing small drops, he's doing double drops, oftentimes more than double. In fact, right now, on the right side of the map, he's got a triple medevac drop with siege tanks.
That has been spotted.
Yeah, he's going to see it right now with this SCV. And he's going to fly, actually, right into the center tower if he's not careful. He actually doesn't care. He's going to siege up behind the mineral line here with his tanks. This is really cool. I like this. This forces a ton of units to come back.
Yeah, Hack is immediately on the move, sends most of his Marines down, and with those 2 siege tanks, this is a very strong position to be in. Very well done. A 5th base now for ASD, nearly completed. As Hack moves down with his Marines, immediately goes for the stim, moves in, but he's going to lose a lot of them here, trying to spread them out, takes the tanks apart, but then he has to deal with the Marines and the medivacs as well. And of course, this was a very positional drop also for ASD. He forced his opponent back once again, and this just made sure that he was able to siege up the position that he's in right now, in a very secure position for his 5th base, and also all these sensor towers that make him aware of when exactly Hack is going to move in again.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many sensor towers on the map right now, it's hard to tell whose is whose, but there is vision for everybody. Tanks unsieged a little bit here for Hack as he tries to move forward, but a ton of free Marine shots, and the upgrade advantage is quite severe here as +2 armor is not done yet for Hack's Marines.
Hack is doing quite well here, but has the problem that he has to move back with his tanks now before they're again taken apart. The vision is better for ASD at this point in time. And look how the FXO player is now just establishing base after base to the top right. He's expanding all over the place, trying to make sure that he at some point can trade SCVs for supply, free up worker supply, so that he can build additional army units.
Yep.
But this is... ASD is by now finally starting to be a little bit aggressive. I mean, this drop early on that he used was already one of the indicators that he wants to get serious here. But now he's trying to lay siege to the
3-3 is not done yet, but he is going to face a pretty cost-efficient engagement here, actually, despite the fact that his opponent will win it. In
That
the
was
end, he's going to
actually
be
a
chased.
huge problem for him. I mean, he lost a lot of units here. He lost his entire army. So this definitely something that where ASD should have been a bit more cautious. As you mentioned, 3-3 was nearly done. If he would have waited for another 5 seconds, he would have at least been able to use those upgrades that his opponent did not have. So they fought basically on the same amount of upgrades, which was a bit of a problem for ASD, as he just didn't have the numbers to compete with StarTale Hack's army.
Yeah, he just had too many Marines. Even with the tanks there, yeah, he killed a lot of Marines, but he lost a lot more. It was the best engagement he could have hoped for, I guess.
We have 4 bases now against 7, and Hack is in a position where he can be aggressive.
Yeah,
he
this
has
is
the
a
supply
great
lead,
position.
and if he attacks right now and does damage, then he's in a good spot, and he tries to do exactly this. He cannot wait too long, or the economy for his opponent will kick in and will
ASD
enable
is
him
trapped in the middle of the
to
map.
use this production.
He can't get home. He has no way to defend against this.
This is exactly the position that we talked about, and so far there is only 1 siege tank in the main base of ASD, and if he's able to take down the siege tank and the defense, suddenly the production is in danger.
Yeah, and right now the defense has already been set up for Hack, so ASD is going to lose all of his tanks in the middle of the map, and his supply is falling quite rapidly. His production facilities are being capped. The tank that you mentioned earlier still survives with a total of 21 kills, but he's lost so much here, and he's going to lose more. The SCV is being taken out.
Too much. Hack is getting into a great position. He sieged forward slowly but steadily, and then cut off his opponent from retreating. And as soon as you're able to hit your opponent's main base, he is in a lot of trouble. Has to trade cost inefficiently, that is. He's just forced to take the fight that he doesn't want to take.
Yeah, and his planetary, well, it's dead. That many siege tanks, that's 11 siege tanks targeting it down. He runs his SCVs away.
He still has a lot of bases left that he can fall back onto, but still, this is a really dire situation for him to be in. The upgrades for Hack are getting closer. Soon they will be on even upgrades, but the tank count alone right now, 15-4.
Yeah, he's going to lose several of those 4 right now as the Marines just rally in, wave after wave, targeting down the siege tanks. He has no answer for the siege tanks of Hack.
He doesn't. Hack can siege forward slowly but steadily, just leapfrog his way into his opponent's natural and main base. And what is ASD supposed to do? He can't do anything right now, not with the units that he still has.
Yeah, he's trying to go for a double drop now. He's going to go over to the planetaries and try to cut off reinforcements, but the problem is his reinforcements and his entire production facilities, he can't even use them.
The StarTale bench is already cheering here. They are really happy about what's happening in this game. And at this point in time, there is not a lot for ASD to do. He tried to get out with a few units earlier with those medivacs, but the 3 bases to the top right, they are the only thing that he can fall back onto. And his production is the big problem. He doesn't have the bank to rebuild his production facilities.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. His mineral count is so low. Mules being dropped here in typical StarTale fashion.
The mana mules, they hit the ground, and the last few units of ASD, they retreat to the top left. His drop is coming in at the bottom right, trying to hit the 4th. It's not really a drop, it's only a couple of stray Marines that try to get into position to deny mining from the 4th base. But even this won't help him at all. There are too many bases left for Hack that are still mining. And with a siege tank count of currently 19-0, there's just no way for ASD to engage any of these positions.
Yeah, it cannot be done. ASD, he's got a ton of orbitals left. I'm trying to count them all right now. He's rebuilding all of his production. He's got 9 barracks on the way, but I mean,
yeah, now he has the bank. By now he has it because he couldn't spend his money. He just got a huge income because of all these bases to the top right, but he could never really do anything with it as soon as Hack attacked his production facilities. So now he has this huge bank and tries to rebuild them, but it's already a little bit too late. Back when it would have maybe made a difference, when he had the chance, he didn't have the resources to pull it off. And now that he does, he's running out of time.
He's been scanned. There's no time left. He's just going to come up here and siege. These tanks, I mean, there's just way too many of them. There's 19 siege tanks. He has got 2 Marines. GG.
Hack takes the first game.
What a game, you know, with the openings we saw, he didn't do that much damage, but he continued the aggression. He was behind in upgrades, but the way he controlled the map is really the story of this TBT.
He always made it work, always moved out, tried to engage, but in the end, it was Hack who was first of all, it was ASD who defended really, really well. Got a little bit of a lead, but Hack, he just got into better positions. He claimed the middle of the map. He dominated the positioning game, and when he finally got into, he got this this small amount of units in between the main army of his opponent and the main base, and then everything was open. He found his opportunity, he found an open door, walked through it, and just took the chance that was presented to him.
Yeah, he totally did. He wasn't banking on it, but he was like, I captured you in the middle of the map. You can't go home, you can't get back on your main base, and he just ran, and like you said, he saw the open door, and he was like, well, I'm coming inside.
It was really well done, and well, we talked a little bit about how well in the early game the FXO player did when we defended against all these Banshees and against the attempted attacks of Hack. But on the other hand, when Hack took his 4th base and established a planetary, he also did a great job with scouting. He always was aware of what was happening to the left, to the right side of the map. He had the sensor towers to the left, so he could always see when there was some kind of medivac drop going on. But at the same time, there were units positioned all over the map to make sure that there was not some kind of drop play or run by that would blindside him. So very well done. And even if when we had ASD just using those 3 medivacs to drop the siege tanks and to get on top of that one cliff, he was already aware what's going to happen. Just used his marines to go back and to take down the small chunk of an army, whereas the siege tanks were still trying to get into a good position to basically shut out everything that ASD could do in the middle of the map.
Yeah, great map awareness and control. All the drops that ASD tried to send were shut down. I mean, it was insane how well he was able to take a tough situation in that game and really turn it into his favor. I loved how he knew the Vikings were attacking his Banshee. He went for that push. It didn't work out as well as he would have liked, but it was a smart idea. Everything they did in this game, it was like he was fighting an uphill battle, but he was doing well. All right, who is FXO going to send out?
Lucky. It is immediately Lucky, one of the 2 strong Zerg players in the team.
Coming out pretty early, actually, but he has shown great Zerg versus Terran, and I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do here.
He's coming out a little bit earlier than I thought, you're right, but on the other hand, it's a good choice here. You still have all the maps available, you still can choose what exactly you want to do. Linog is going to be one of the later players, and you don't want to have like players of one race waiting as the last players of your team. I never really liked it when a team is trying to save 2 players of the same race for the let's say the late game team match. It just makes you a little bit too predictable.
It's very true. I definitely like to see stronger players coming out earlier. You can see that Lucky is actually one of his team's better players by far for Team League results, having 1.2 average wins. Very valuable player for them. I mean, you already said that, and everybody knows how strong this guy is, how useful he is, and the choice to bring him out here early and shut down Hack, I like it.
I feel though that Lucky, as mentioned before, has to prove himself a little bit anew, because just lately he didn't have the results that he really wanted. He participated in a lot of the qualifiers, a lot of the smaller tournaments, and never got really the results that he, in my opinion, deserves. He's a strong player, but before we see him play against Hack, we are going to have a 5-minute break, and then we will be back with the GSTL StarTale against FXO.